And hospitality groups say that pubs, restaurants and hotels, cafes are in what they say is a perilous state and in need of urgent support, as new research today reveals a quarter of those businesses have no cash reserves left.
Well, with the budget coming in a couple of weeks' time, the industry is now urging the government to prioritise tax cuts for the sector to ease financial pressure. We're joined now by Merlin Griffiths, who stars in Channel 4's First Dates. You're also a pub landlord.
I am, yes, that's right. We're due to open our third one in a couple of weeks. And you're right, it's a terrifying time. Cash flow across the board is critical at the moment. Everyone from small cafe owners right through to very high-profile chefs like Simon Rimmer you've seen having to close their doors because of the pressures in the cost of doing business. It's the fifth largest sector in the UK, and we employ a staggering number of people, over 1 million people. And I think, finally, we've got a unified call for action here with the British Beer and Pub Association, UK Hospitality and others, all asking for this reduction in VAT, just to buy us that bit of headroom.
Because what's heartbreaking at the moment is there are so many hospitality businesses who hunkered down during lockdown, used the loans to rebuild themselves and looked like they were coming out of the woods. And then because energy prices have gone up and overheads in many areas, food inflation's happened, they're just not surviving this next hurdle. And if they do get over this next hurdle, they could have a strong trajectory.
Well, this is right, and you've identified a number of things there. Yes, truth be told, I have a laundry list of changes that I would like to see within my trade. But the first one, and where it all starts, is this cut in VAT, like you say. It's allowing us that space to breathe. When you give a sector like ours a tax cut like this, we reinvest it. We don't hedge it, we don't offshore it. We're investing in staff, so that's money in people's pockets, OK, employment. We're investing in local suppliers, local tradesmen to maintain our pubs. So I think this is very important, and it pays for itself in that sort of sense.
So I'm Jeremy Hunt. I'm sitting at number 11 Downing Street watching BBC Breakfast this morning, thinking about my budget, and I'm thinking, OK, they might want a VAT tax cut, but I've also got to pay for this, I've got to pay for that. I've got to give the public a bit of money in their pockets as well to go out and spend in the pubs and restaurants. Do you really think you're going to get it?
It's going to be a tough one to square, isn't it? It really is. My personal solution to this is it's to do with VAT thresholds as well. If you start bringing the VAT threshold down to include more people within that, at the moment there's a cliff edge at £85,000. People don't grow their businesses beyond that, so they don't have to charge VAT. You bring it right down, you've now got the flexibility to lower VAT across the board.
There will be lots of people who run small businesses saying, OK, a quarter of hospitality firms say they have no cash reserves left. Lots of businesses will say that's just how we exist. That's normal for a small business. Just explain why it's important, particularly for hospitality, to have that buffer.
Well, you're right. Yeah, nobody said running a small business was ever going to be easy, and we're not asking for a free pass. It's really important to mention that. But at the same time, the cost of doing business, the pressures on this have just become so great. You're watching places that were previously always viable, community assets, bear in mind as well. These are often the only place for people to meet up for miles around, especially when you look at rural pubs. And this is what's important. We also employ a lot of people as well. I think it's over 1 million people in the UK employed within hospitality. And a lot of what we do is linked into your local economies as well. And I think this is where it is so important. But you're right, it's difficult.
When we talk to landlords, what they'll say is, at the moment, those margins are coming finer and finer, and it's tricky to then pass it on to consumers whose wages aren't necessarily growing at the same rate as inflation. No,
that's right. It is terribly, terribly difficult. You're right. I don't claim to have all the answers, but we definitely do have an ask, as I say, and it is about reducing the VAT first and foremost, just to buy us some breathing room so we can continue contributing.
What about finding staff? How difficult is that right now?
Up and down. I've heard mixed reports. Kitchen staff, especially, I've heard, are very difficult to come by. I think also, though, you're finding a lot of small businesses are reducing staff numbers anyhow because of the cost of doing business at the moment. You're finding hours getting shorted, and you're finding staff hours getting shorted, and it's really unfortunate. Again, more reasons that we need this headroom so we can actually invest in our businesses and grow rather than shrink.
Shall we tell you what the Treasury have said to us? They said that their action has helped halve inflation, so inflation has come down significantly, but they've also extended measures to support hospitality. That's 75% discount on business rates and freezing alcohol duty until August of this year. Their argument might be you're already having extra help.
So the British Beer and Pub Association have also been asking for a reduction in duty. It's roughly 3 times higher than most mainland European nations at the moment. And while that helps brewers obviously, there's a perfect symbiosis between brewers and pubs and brewers. So they need the break as well, so they can keep supplying us with the beer at the correct prices. We're all scared of having to put our prices up at the moment, all of us. I admin several sort of networks of publicans here and there, and the big trend I'm seeing now at the moment is most of the owner-operators and the independents, they're working for free.
Really?
Just to keep the doors open. Yes, they're not paying themselves.
So in terms of reinvestment to grow and go forward, that's not there?
Yes, exactly. You know, and we need that investment, yeah.
Merlin, you say you're opening, another pub? Got another one?
Yes.
And how are things with you generally? Because you've spoken in the past about your bowel cancer diagnosis a couple of years ago, and you're in good health?
Yeah, I seem to be. I seem to be surviving, and I'm looking forward to, touch wood, thriving.
So one more pub to open?
Yes, one to open, and as you say, it's that, you know, with the backdrop of, we've just had a technical recession, I think, whatever that means. And so, yeah, it is. It's a very scary time to be opening one's doors again. But at the same time, it's a very happy thing to be doing. And, you know, I just hope that we see the pledges, or we see the changes in the spring budget that help support my trade.
Will you serve pickled eggs? Because that is my one stipulation if I come and visit a pub.
Yes.
Oh, you do?
I will do.
Great.
But what gives you the confidence to be opening new pubs at a time when you're saying that it's scary and terrifying, and, you know, you obviously have some belief in the sector, in the future?
I'm an eternal optimist, honestly, John, an absolute eternal optimist. My pint glass is always half full with perfect tide marks on it from a good pour. You know, realistically, I don't know what else I would do as well, to be perfectly honest.
You love it.
I do. I absolutely love it, and communities need their pubs as well. And it's an amazing thing. My village, where I'm doing this pub, has been without a pub for quite some time, and they're also very much looking forward to us opening the doors.
They love their pickled eggs.
Oh yeah.
I'm there. Pickled eggs and crisps.
Merlin, lovely
Good luck
to see
with
you.
the launch. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good to see you looking well. Thank you so much for coming in.
We wait to hear from the budget a couple of weeks away now.